Hi, I'm Jeff Feldhahn. I'm the president of W2o1001. And what you're looking at right now, the iCard and the iPages, are a couple of cool technology products that we've actually developed here at W2o1001. Those products actually flowed from a core belief that we hold, and that is that a person's most valuable asset doesn't consist of their education, of the stuff that they own, or even of their job skills, but rather of their relationships. Because it's through relationships that a person is able to build and have perhaps successful business opportunities through their contacts, or even through those contacts to find help through some of life's difficult patches. Yet when you talk to most folks tend to not value their relationship assets appropriately. For example, a lot of folks would even admit that there's probably hundreds or even thousands of people that they've come across in their lives. Folks from school, colleges, jobs that they've had, places that they've lived, and yet they've lost touch with them. They didn't lose touch with them because they wanted to, but simply because life is busy and it takes a whole lot of work to stay connected to the people that you want to stay connected to. If only there was an easier way. So that was the problem that W2o1001 sought to solve, and the good news is that we have. And the way that we've solved that problem is through the iCard and iPage. Think of it like this. A user who's using an iCard, it basically serves as their default email signature. So when they send an email, a person who receives that email can click on a link to the right of their iCard that says save my information. Once they do that, all of that sender's contact details is added into the recipient's address book, their Outlook, their Lotus Notes, their Entourage, etc. And also what we've done here at W2o1001 is we've got some patented technology that also, along with those contact details, embeds an updating link into that contact book entry. So now in the future, whenever they want to get that person's updated information, they just click on that update link. For example, here's how it would work in my case. Let's say that I sent an email with my iCard 12 months ago to someone. During the following 12 months, I could have changed jobs, I could have moved residences, I could have changed any of my contact details. And then, all of a sudden, that person wants to get in touch with me. They call my phone number, it doesn't work. They send me an email, it bounces back. So what they do is they click that update link. All of a sudden, all of my most current information pops into their address book. So now, the people that I'm trying to stay in touch with will always be able to get in touch with me. That's a real benefit to me. And the fact is that for the person who I'm sending it to in the email, they don't have to join any kind of a social network in order to get these benefits. They don't have to buy or use any new kind of software. They simply use what they're already using. We like to think of it as the polite way of staying in touch, as opposed to some other services that when a person sends out an email, they ask the recipients to update their contact information to them. So it seemed a little rude, and we wanted to find a different solution, and we have. Now, that's only one side of the story. The other side of the story are, people are more than just their contact details. People tend to want to do business with or relate to people that they like or people that they have something in common with. That's where the iPage comes into play. The iPages are basically an individual's web page. With the basic iCard product, the iPage is a web page that a person can create. They can put their story about who they are professionally or personally, and it travels with their iCard. Now, when they send an email, a person is able to not only get their contact details, but also get the story about who they are. That fills in a whole lot more details than simply some numbers in an address book. So with the iCard, you can always ensure that the people that you're wanting to stay in touch with always have your absolutely most current contact details. With the iPage, you're able to build a better relationship because they begin to know who you are, something about you, and give you opportunities for them to like you. And the great thing about all of this is that it's easy to do. You don't have to know web development or anything like that. If you can type, if you can upload a picture, you can create a great story that'll go in your iPage. Or, even as you're watching here, you could embed a video of yourself and really tell your story. And W2o1001 is rolling out the iCard and iPage technology across the country to individuals and organizations alike. And both groups are finding that managing their relationships well and wisely is good for business. The iCard and the iPages can help anyone do that. Among the organizations that have found the iCard and iPages particularly useful are companies that have employees that are customer facing, that deal with their customers or with potential customers. Sales organizations are an obvious example of this. And one of the great challenges for these organizations are when these employees leave. How do they maintain the connection with the customers that these sales personnel or other employees have been developing? I think the best way of describing the iCard and how it solves these problems for a company is, let's just give a real-world example. Let's say that the hardest job for a sales manager, for the VP of sales, is to manage the turnover of his staff. So John Smith, let's say that he's been with a company for 5 years. John Smith may have 50 accounts that he works on. The sales manager would obviously know all of this stuff. And if John Smith was a good boy and updating the CRM package with every contact and every detail, then none of this would be a problem. But we all know that CRM packages generally leave a little bit to be desired. So now, John Smith, he leaves. What the sales manager, again, knows are the 50 accounts that he's been working on over the years. What he doesn't know are perhaps all the people within each of those accounts that John Smith communicates to. And he probably doesn't know all of the potential customers that John Smith has been dealing with. Guys that he met on the airplane and handed him his business card and followed up with an email. Probably the sales manager doesn't know any of that stuff. With the iCard, none of that matters. Because now here's what happens. John Smith has been using the iCard for quite some time. And when John Smith leaves, the company has a replacement for him, Susan Johnson. All of a sudden, 6 months after John Smith is gone, one of those contacts, one of those people, either a potential customer or someone within one of his accounts, needs to get in touch with him. Actually, they don't need to get in touch with John Smith. They need to get in touch with the person at the company who can solve their problem. So they open up their address book, they look for John Smith's contact entry, call the number, find out he's not there. There's a moment of angst and they think, great, I'm going to spend 15 minutes wasting my time trying to track down who I need to talk to. And instead, they notice the update link. So they click on that. All of a sudden, Susan Johnson's information pops into their address book with a note from the company that says, John Smith's no longer here. Susan Smith is his replacement, and all of her information's above. So now what we've created with the iCard, with a company using the iCard through its personnel, we've created a seamless transition, and we've created a connection between the customer or the contact and the sales position. It's absolutely agnostic as to who is sitting in that sales position seat. Now that's one side of the coin. The other side is the iPages. We've talked about those earlier with the Who I Am page. An agent, an employee can create something that creates an opportunity for their contacts, for their customers, potential customers, to find a reason to work with them, to like them. That's a good thing. The company can also have additional pages where they can, talk about special job promotion, job opportunities, or they can talk about different product offerings or different services that they're rolling out. All of a host of things. It's really up to the company. They can do it with, video. They can do it in any way that they want. Think of those pages as their web pages that just travel along with each employee's email. So that's the point. With every employee's email is an opportunity for that company to brand themselves in front of their customers or potential customers. That's pretty powerful. Finally, how does all this stuff get rolled out? W2o1001 has a number of ways that we can roll it out with companies. We have a server-side solution, which can simply be plugged into the network and do all the work, and absolutely nothing required of any employee. Or we can also have an individual installation service where the product is used by individual employees on a non-server basis. Either will work fine, and we're pretty skilled at getting it all done and rolled out for companies so that the disruption is next to nothing.